Answers to assignment questions. Question 13. Give one reason why rubbing alcohol was used to make the homemade thermometer. Rubbing alcohol was used because it can improve sensitivity of the thermometer, as alcohol expands more than water does when temperature rises. When alcohol expands more, the total volume increases more. So, the length of liquid column also increases more. We say that the sensitivity is higher because the length of liquid column increases more. Question 14. Explain in terms of particle motion, that is kinetic theory, why the length of colored liquid column increases with temperature. According to particle motion theory, when temperature rises, the liquid particles gain kinetic energy. They have more energy, they vibrate and move faster. And then each particle will occupy more space. So the separation between particles increases. And therefore, we say the liquid increases in volume, the liquid expands. By the way, particles never expand. A particle occupies more space when it has more kinetic energy and when it vibrates faster. Question 27. By making two improvements on the following thermometer, make another one which is more sensitive. A more sensitive thermometer should have a larger bulb and smaller bore. So, it should look like this. A larger bulb may have more liquid inside, so that when temperature increases, the liquid volume increases more, and so the liquid column also increases more in length, which means more sensitive. Question 28. Explain why the bulb of a quick response thermometer should have thin glass wall. And the answer is because in this way, heat can flow easily through the glass wall so that the liquid inside may expand and contract quickly, and that will give a correct temperature reading more quickly. So for quick response, the bulb should have thin glass wall, and the measuring liquid should be good conductor of heat so that the liquid is heated up and it expands quickly. Question 29. Give one advantage and one disadvantage of having thin glass wall for the bulb. The advantage is the quick response to temperature change, and the disadvantage is that the bulb becomes fragile, so it is easy to be broken. Question 30. What about the stem? Should it also have thin glass wall? If it is thin, then the glass wall is weak and it becomes fragile. It may be easily broken. And more importantly, there will be a lot of heat flow between the liquid column and the surroundings through the glass wall. So the temperature reading would be affected and it becomes inaccurate. Question 31. Clinical thermometers are sterilized by alcohol, but not hot water. Why? Because hot water is usually too hot. It may break a clinical thermometer easily. A clinical thermometer is designed to measure temperature around normal human body temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. Any temperature higher than 42 may be too high for a clinical thermometer. It cannot withstand that high temperature and it will break easily. Question 32. Give one advantage and one disadvantage of mercury-in-glass thermometer. Advantage: mercury-in-glass thermometer responds more quickly to temperature change. Disadvantage: mercury-in-glass thermometer is more expensive. Question 33. Mercury-in-glass thermometer is more sensitive, but usually we give alcohol-in-glass thermometer to junior form students. Why? Because mercury is poisonous. Alcohol is not. So, if a mercury-in-glass thermometer is broken, the student may breathe in the mercury vapor, and it is dangerous to them. Question 34. State and explain one advantage and one disadvantage of alcohol-in-glass thermometer. Alcohol is not poisonous, but mercury is. This is the advantage of using alcohol-in-glass thermometer. One disadvantage: alcohol-in-glass thermometer responds to temperature change more slowly. Lesson 3, Section 1.6 to 1.8. 1.6. Temperature and particle motion. The following diagrams shows the arrangement of particles in solid, liquid, and gas. As solid melts to become liquid, the particles move more freely. Liquid may vaporize to become gas, and you see that the gas particles are so far away from each other. Gas, on the other hand, condenses to become liquid, and liquid freezes to become solid. By kinetic theory, the particles in solid can only vibrate. The particles in liquid, they can vibrate and move as well. For gaseous particle, they can move freely at very high speed. As you can see, the average kinetic energy of particles increases with temperature when solid changes to liquid and liquid changes to gas. You may know very well solid has a rigid structure. It has a fixed shape. A liquid and gas has no fixed shape. Why? Liquid and gas can flow because particles may move anywhere. On the other hand, you can also see that gas has no fixed volume. A liquid has a fixed volume. Why? Because the separation between particles decreases when gas is compressed, so it has no fixed volume. Copy all that down on your notes before you move on. Let's take a look at question 39. It asks you what happened at the same temperature to two different kinds of gas particles when one is more massive than the other. At the same temperature, different gas particles should have the same kinetic energy. So, if the kinetic energy of a particle depends on the mass and the speed, then for the larger mass, the speed should be smaller. 1.7. Thermometer. How does it work? According to kinetic theory, all matters are tiny particles. When temperature is higher, the particles move faster, so that their kinetic energy increases. And each particle will occupy a larger space when it vibrates faster. And so, expansion results. For the thermometer, when the bulb is put into hot water, then the particles of the measuring liquid gain kinetic energy. So the particles vibrate faster and they occupy more space. And that means the liquid expands and increases in volume. That pushes the liquid up the column and the length of the liquid column increases. So we may measure the temperature from the increase in the length of liquid column. Well, you see that temperature is a measure of average kinetic energy of particles. If the particles vibrate faster, then the liquid expands more, and the temperature will be higher. So why the liquid column of a liquid-in-glass thermometer does not increase forever? 1.8 Absolute temperature scale. We see that particles of substance increases in kinetic energy and move faster when temperature increases. What about if the temperature is decreased? When the temperature decreases, particles move more slowly. What happens if they have no kinetic energy? What temperature it will be? Scientists found that all particles stop moving at a temperature of negative 273 degrees Celsius. That means there cannot be any temperature lower than this because particles have already stopped their motion at that temperature. Scientists call this temperature 0K, and the temperature scale that is measured in this way is called absolute temperature scale. Starting from 0K at negative 273 degrees Celsius, and then at 0 degrees Celsius we call it 273K, and so on. Using this new temperature scale, we may find that the absolute temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy of particles. And what does that mean by directly proportional? What it means is, when the absolute temperature doubles, then the average kinetic energy of particles also doubles. And now you should be able to convert temperature in absolute temperature scale to Celsius temperature scale, and even to Fahrenheit temperature scale. That's the end of the video.